What's going on, everyone? It's been a few weeks since I recorded. We're back. FDP, another Browns victory. We're just excited to jump on into it. I do want to start with something because we have a very special guest from Network 216 from the Across Cavs podcast. We got Zach Wise. Zach, the NBA has suspended Draymond Green indefinitely, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm very surprised by that just because I can't say I've ever seen a suspension handed out without the game number being attached. So this has to mean minimum of a month. I don't know how many games that is, but I think this could. I thought the Warriors had title aspirations coming into the season, which honestly is absurd now. Dynasty might be officially cooked, and other pieces could be moved. Warriors are screwed. He deserves it. No reason to swing on Nurkic. Anybody. Obviously, know who Nurkic's father is. You should be avoiding contact with him. Damn, Cavs are better now. Finally, right? Finally.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their issues with the Cavs too. I mean, I know you talk about it a lot, but I mean, since I have you on, finally got a chance to talk Cavs with you too before we get into some Browns and your boy Joe Flacco. So, I mean, just wanted to bring that up before. As always, joined by Jack. Jack, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
And the king himself, Eddie. Eddie, how you doing tonight, my bro?
I'm good. My mic's unmuted, so I can actually talk. And
all right.
Fantastic.
Listen, it's hard out here right now for me. All right, I'm doing my best, trying to stay awake right now and no caffeine. All right, dude.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, boys. I was at the game Sunday, and I can just say it's my first time sitting in the lower level. Jack, I'm not sure where your season tickets are.
They're on the second level, but they're right above the dog pound.
Oh, nice. Oh, so I was like section 138, so I was kind of close to you. 136, something like that.
You're kind of like at the
10-yard line,
the western side of the stadium. I'm on
10-yard line. Yeah, but dude, that atmosphere, that whole game, I didn't sit down once. No one sat down once. It was a playoff atmosphere, a great game. Everyone knew, like the fans, no matter what, everyone knew the importance of this game, dude. And I mean, so let's just jump into it, man. Like the fact that the Browns came in there at home, of course, we've been handling business at home all year, but dude, we handle business against a good Jaguars team. They're kind of struggling as of late, but the Browns, I mean, dude, fourth starting quarterback this season, Joe Flacco. He said he's feeling like a 10-year-old kid out there. He's looking like, the Joe Flacco we saw in Baltimore. Zach, you can attest to that kind of right now. Yeah. I mean, dude, Zach, speak on it, man. What you saw as a Baltimore Ravens fan. Sorry for all our listeners out there right now, but Zach is a Baltimore Ravens fan.
I know. Once I'm on the air, I don't talk Ravens, and obviously, just understand that yes, I'm a fan of both teams. I was a Cavs fan first. I became a Ravens fan 3 years later. I was unaware of the history or connection between the teams. I was unaware. All I knew when I became a Ravens fan, I knew they wear purple, and I knew I liked the mascot and the name. That's why I picked them. It was random. This was 2005. I became a Cavs fan in 2003. Same reason many did, but did I leave? We're here 21 years later. Joe Flacco looked great, man. He's not working with the best of receivers because of injuries and trades. I know the Browns, and I see all these O-linemen just keep going down, 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 which is really absurd. Yes, Jeff W. You could kick the Ravens fan out of the stream, except he's got the insight now. You finally have a non-hostile opposing fan. But nonetheless, he looked really good. I feel like Peoples-Jones could have actually gelled really well with Flacco at quarterback if they still had him. But fact of the matter is, comes off the couch, played a couple weeks. He gets 45 throws in. They beat the Jags, which is a huge win. Now they set up the Ravens to play the Jags, which could really shift things in the AFC with the Texans only one game back.
Yep.
But I'm just amazed by Cleveland's, consistent ability to they'll lose 2 or 3 guys every week and they just come back. They're playing hard. And as long as I've known the Browns, if you take away the Derek Anderson season, the Brian Hoyer hot start, I think it was 2013, and then the Baker playoff season, this is by far the best they've been. And if you think about the situation, this, regardless of how the season ends up, could be looked at as the best Browns season in the last 20 years, just for staying the course, for sticking with it, no crazy moves, and ignoring all the noise, because there's been a lot of noise. And Flacco's impressed me in his last couple of weeks. He does look like maybe the 2 years before Lamar came, Flacco, not the last year before, the 2 years before, that got them to that Patriots game. Not to rant, keep going. And the closing note is the Browns do impress me. They will get in, and I do think the 5 seed will be theirs. It seems like the Ravens have a tough schedule. Not crazy for them to win the division, but I think Baltimore will take the Jags this week, and then with the Niners, Dolphins, and Steelers, they could go 0-3. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, though, I mean, the fact that you said this might be the best Browns team like you've seen, like we've honestly have seen, I agree with that. I mean, 2020 was a great year, but outside, I mean, that Chiefs game was up in the air. We honestly, we should have took that game. Defensively, I think fans knew, the team wasn't built to win a Super Bowl in 2020. The Brian Hoyer year, a complete mess. That's one of those, play Johnny, why kind of things. This year, though, if you look at it from this aspect of the season could have been derailed when Nick Chubb went down in that Week 2 Steelers game, dude. Like that right there could have been the end of your season. You lost your heart and soul on your offense. You lost probably one of the most loved dudes in the locker room in terms of on the offensive side of the ball. And now you come out here and, all the issues with Watson's shoulder and his injuries and all those setbacks, to still be 8-5, to still be in the thick of it. Not like, oh, we're in the hunt. No, we are the 5th seed right now in the AFC. And the reason, obviously we're in the best division of football. You got the Ravens. Steelers are still pushing. Bengals are still winning games with, with their backup quarter. Yeah. It's like the year of the backup quarterbacks right now,
JB
dude.
to JB, you barely see any dip in productivity. I mean, it's just weird. It's crazy.
Brown is Brown too. That's the other weird thing.
I know.
Case Brown now.
The thing is, the Browns have had so many opportunities. There's been so many points in the season. Like every year there's always like kind of like eras inside the season. Like this team's really hot. This team's really hot. This team has a really bad streak. And even in this season, the Browns have had that almost on like a bi-weekly, every 3 weeks, they have like a different thing that happens that kind of just creates like its own section of the season that we all remember. And I feel like every injury has almost become like a new point where the Browns could have fallen apart. Nick Chubb gets hurt week 2. It's like, okay, is the run game gonna fall apart? Are we gonna completely shut down on offense? And yet the offense stays fine. It doesn't completely shut down. Deshaun goes out. Okay, are we going to be completely incapable of scoring points? Are we going to just have to completely shoulder the defense, the entire game on the defense? Nope, it's still fine. Is like Deshaun's out for the season. All these guys are out for the season. Like every single week, we're getting more and more guys that are hurt and aren't coming back, and yet we still find ways to win. Yeah, have we had some tough losses during the season? Yeah, but that's what you can expect from a team that's missing so many key pieces. But yet you're still 8-5, somehow ahead of this huge roadblock in the AFC of all these 7-6 teams. And I mean, just watching the game, like you could tell how big it was. Like, yeah, there weren't a lot of people who were there because I think a lot of people thought the weather was going to be way worse. It was actually good weather, other than the fact that it was cold. But it's Cleveland in December. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
And just the energy that was there, and just the whole game, there was a lot of confidence outside of the fact that I think that the Browns probably would have blown this team out. Like they let them into the game multiple times. Like they should have blown them out by probably 2 or 3 scores. But bad turnovers, bad timing on turnovers. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the game was like 21-0 at half, because the Jags could not get anything done. They got 2 free scores from short field positions. I mean, and yeah, just kind of like what Zach was saying. I mean, Joe Flacco looks fantastic. He looks like he looks like he's 10 years old. He looks like he's playing like he's 30-year-old Joe Flacco. Like he's still in the prime of his career. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we have one of those weird little magical runs. And really at this point, I feel like the Browns are just kind of playing with house money. They like every
they are
do at this point is just house money. If they succeed, good. If they don't make it as far as I think a lot of us think that they can make it in the playoffs. You know what? This is a culture year, honestly.
Yeah. They revamped the coaching staff. Stefanski finally got rid of Joe Woods, and then Mike Prefer brings in Bo Vitrone, and then Jim Schwartz, who is probably the best acquisition of any player or personnel in the NFL this year. What he's done with this defense, especially at home. This defense at home that's like the best in the world defense. It's not as good on the road, but that's okay. As long as you're winning at home, they're 6-1 now at home. Only Dallas has more wins at home than them. They're 7-0. So I think this also goes to Kevin Stefanski. These guys keep fighting for him. He keeps, believing in the next man up, and they have that mentality of next man up. And Stefanski's still there. Hey guys, let's keep going. Let's fight. For 60 minutes, let's go out and battle. And they buy into that. You just saw. I think it was it Juan Thornhill last week that tweeted out about how he loved playing for Kevin Stefanski, and then Myles Garrett said something last week.
Said it.
He's coaching his ass off,
and he absolutely is. And that's just this team. Like you said, Jack, every week it's something else. Today we find out Grant Delpit's gone for at least the next 4 games. He can come back if we make the playoffs. And then not Maurice Hurst, but Ogbo is gone. More than likely that he didn't definitively say that quite yet, but it's almost a certainty. So I think there's 13 players on IR currently.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jed Bills is gone for the season. DeJuan Jones gone for the season. And that's not even counting, Watson and Chubb and Conklin and whoever else, and Rodney McLeod's out for the season. And all these guys are just out. Yet they find ways to win. That's a good Jacksonville team. And the way that they were able to battle all game, and a lot of people were complaining, why don't they run more? Well, it's hard to run against the 5th best rushing defense in the NFL. So Flacco aired it out against, I think it was the 28th or something best at the time. And he was just Joe Flacco of old. It looked like he had it, like he was playing for Baltimore, only in a Browns uniform. And it's still surreal that's even a thing. But I'm glad it is because he's a veteran presence. He knows how to get it done when it matters most. He's getting rapport with David Njoku. He's getting rapport with Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. Even Cedric Tillman got in on the mix this week. David Bell had the wide open touchdown where he just turned and just saw nothing.
Amazing.
That was fantastic. And that's a credit to, again, Kevin Stefanski for drawing that play up after the Browns almost screwed themselves.
And it's also an amazing credit to, I think, Joe Flacco on that play, because you have a quarterback now that probably walked in to Berea and said, hey, this is what I like. These are the concepts I like. Kevin listened to him. Kevin's a great coach with quarterbacks. And now you have a quarterback where you're not scared to air it out with the guy, dude. Even at 38 years old, coming off, I'm going to say coming off the street because he didn't play yet this year.
Coming off the couch.
He literally, the fact that he stayed in, the fact that he stayed in this type of game shape, came in, basically probably sat down and just worked with Kevin and AVP and said, these are the concepts I like. This is what I, can run. And that play right there was gutsy for one. And two, he knew pre-snap probably every single read he could go to and check downs and everything, dude. He just saw it. Same with that first touchdown to David Njoku. That was an amazing draw up, dude. That first drive in general. Jack, dude, I knew after the second play we were scoring on that drive, dude.
Well, that just the thing about Joe Flacco, and Zach, I'm going to ask you something after this about this. Yeah. Joe Flacco just seemed like he was very decisive. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. The whole game plan seemed perfectly designed for what he wanted to do in the game. And then the thing is that because of the way that Joe Flacco is, just how immobile he is, I think it almost worked to the strength of Kevin Stefanski's game calling. And he's able to get guys open because guys aren't expecting him to be able to move. They're expecting when a running back's in the backfield, they're going to run the ball. They're able to use these concepts to trick the defenses. And that's how you get David Njoku wide open on 2 different plays for touchdowns. That's how you're able to get a stack concept and have a linebacker be so out of position that David Bell's able to just walk it in for a touchdown. It's because, they don't feel like they have to respect Joe Flacco's legs, but it's just the way that he's able to analyze the defense. He's so good. And Zach, I wanted to ask you, when Joe Flacco got signed, did you think that in 2 games we would be looking at a guy who's averaging 2.5 touchdowns and almost 250 yards of offense, coming off the couch, not having any offseason workout? Did you think that this was going to be happening? And now, obviously, you're a Ravens fan, so you probably don't pay attention to Joe Flacco in the offseason.
No. So as soon as Lamar became the starter back in end of 2018, you knew that Flacco's going somewhere else. It was a great ride, 11 seasons. He advanced in the playoffs 6 times. He won a Super Bowl. But you look at his overall numbers, and they're not numbers that you give a quarterback to become the highest paid ever. And if you look at him since he left the Ravens, since Lamar took over, since first he goes to Denver, spends parts of 3 seasons with the Jets, and now he's here. I think you almost have to compare Flacco. And if this sounds absurd, please mute my mic. But I watch Tristan Thompson right now in Cleveland after a couple of bad years on other teams, coming back and playing a key role. Yes, Flacco's new to the city. He's not going back to an old team. But he came somewhere with no expectations. You might get some run. If you're thrown in, you'll see what you do. Flacco spends 1 week, right, I think, on the practice squad as a backup learning the system. It doesn't go well. So they said, all right, Joe, you're starting. You see the injuries to Cleveland. They've looked at Tristan and said, all right, man, you're going to play big minutes. And he's done a really nice job when he's been asked. Obviously, Flacco plays a bigger role. But you're talking about Bell and Njoku, and obviously he does a lot less for the Browns as far as catches go, but Harrison Bryant, because Joe Flacco's always been good with tight ends. You remember when he had Dennis Pitta during his prime years in Baltimore. He got to come in with Todd Heap as a starter. He may have had a little bit of Hayden Hurst in there before he kind of busted out of Baltimore and he's bounced around. I know he's dealing some mental health now, so hopefully Hayden Hurst gets what he needs, similar to what Ricky Rubio has been dealing with and why he's away from the Cavs. Mm-hmm. But I'm so happy for him. I did not expect this in any way, shape, or form, but I did know if you're throwing Flacco in, that ball will be traveling more than just 10 yards downfield. He'll take his shots. He'll throw past the marker. He's not going to ask his receivers and backs to get the yards. He's going to say, all right, I'm putting it here. Go get it. I'll give you the opportunity. So if you don't get yards after the catch, big whoop. You don't have to catch and run 20 yards on 2nd and long or 3rd and long. I will put it where it needs to be. I'll give you a chance to make a play, maybe get a flag if you can't make the play. And I think that's massive. You know, the Jags have been struggling a bit. They were down, and they were up. And, of course, they might not be getting a fully healthy Lawrence after what happened the week before, but you can't make injury excuses because the Browns are playing with their B team and C team, even D team. And here they are still winning. So long answer short for you, Jack. So happy for Flacco. And with the division race being what it is, it's been very hard for me to root for the Browns at all in the box score. But this is a week where I'm happy the Browns won because A, it gets the Jags off the Ravens' ass. And B, Joe Flacco's getting praised again. I didn't know if that was going to happen again. I am still a Flacco fan. I'm probably not going to get his shirt. I don't love the number 15. I wish 5 was available.
That's my number, 15.
You are number 15. I see you're at Eddie.
That's on my back.
Do you have a Flacco shirt yet?
No, I do not. I will get one sometime.
And I respect that. I
wanted to get Josh Dobbs, but then I thought about it. I was like, I don't really want a Josh Dobbs once he's going to be here for a cup of coffee. I do love that comparison of Tristan Thompson, though, because while it's not the same, while Joe Flacco's not coming home necessarily, he has owned the Browns in Cleveland Browns Stadium. So in a sense, it is his home. You know,
10 wins.
Him and Big Ben just beat our asses for years in our own stadium, and nothing we can do. And now he's going back there, and he was on the road for his first start. Then he comes home. He gets that home crowd, and he gets to feel that. And he played well. He was the FedEx Air Player of the Week, and I'm so happy because everyone was like, oh, we need someone. And as soon as they said Flacco, everyone was like, you know what? F it, we're in. Cool, let's do it. And he's been better than any of us expected. All we needed, and we've said it ad nauseum from week 1 on, we just need above average quarterback play. We didn't need Deshaun Watson to be superstar 2018 Deshaun Watson. We didn't need PJ Walker to, be anything other than what he was. And he won us some games. We didn't need the rookie to go out and just be the best rookie there ever was. We needed to play competent above average football. And for the most part, we've gotten that. And Flacco does that and airing it out. We didn't air it out that much. Even with Watson, he would take some shots, but they're more conservative with him. And I think it's probably because of the shoulder too. Flacco just comes out there, 1, 2, 3, boom, out. And the receivers, they need to help him out more because they've dropped a lot of passes because his numbers would look even better if there not been drops the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like the last couple of weeks, but before we got Flacco, when that was still a discussion, a lot of people were saying, the Browns were making a lot of mistakes. They didn't, come into the season with a more veteran quarterback presence after they traded Josh Dobbs. Obviously, Josh Dobbs plays well in Arizona, and then he gets benched, and then he goes to the Vikings and plays well. And obviously, the whole idea that, oh, we didn't, try to go and trade for a guy like Jacoby Brissett. And I think you see why now is because I think that Kevin and Andrew Berry, they knew that they didn't need to have a guy that obviously was super, someone who was super, knew the system, was super experienced or anything like that, on the roster right away, because I think that they knew that there was a plethora of guys that were, free agents that were able to kind of come in. And Kevin Stefanski, people want to give him, a bunch of trouble for stuff for his play calling and stuff like that. But guess what? He gets a guy in there that just goes in and does his job. And he just, he's not going to, crack under pressure. He's going to hit the throws when he needs to. He can get a guy ready like that and have a game plan for him really easily. I mean, he turned Kirk Cousins into one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. He got the most production out of him. He got the most production out of Baker Mayfield. He got production out of a lot of these guys who obviously are not, they're not like non-talented players. It's just that he maximized their potential. And when you get a guy like Joe Flacco, who, one of the main benefits of Joe Flacco is that not only is he, a very solid quarterback, but also he's really even keel. He's kind of like a coach on the field. You get a guy like that who not only exemplifies, I know I did kind of hear that too, Jacob. Gosh, now I'm off.
Jacob, look what you did, you little jerk.
Like you get a guy like that who's even keel, who
doesn't
crack under pressure.
Home Alone reference. None of you the Home Alone reference. Wow, I'm really.
Oh, I got it. Jacob Roach just keeps texting me about things that he wants me to mention on the show that are in the comments as well. I can't. I just don't think it's appropriate for a Browns podcast. But I'm going to text him back.
Jacob's been posting this whole time, and then I look at the chat like once, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he caught me on the one thing. I was like, I said it, and I was like, oh, that kind of sounded like I said that, didn't it? I thought no one would notice, but
I caught it. But I don't.
Yeah, I thought I saw your face kind of twitch for a second there.
We're all cool.
But the fact that he's able to come in there and just be, again, even keel, you see him on the NFL highlights where they posted him in the tunnel, and just how he is able to kind of have such a great commanding presence that everyone listens to him. People respect that kind of guy. And the fact that he's in there, he's kind of like a head coach on the field. He's able to do what needs to be done. And that Kevin's just able to kind of, run out a pretty simple offensive concept and just get max production out of it. I mean, I just, gosh, I'm like so off now because I completely forgot. Like, I started this story and I was trying to get to an end point, and then I got so derailed that I don't know where I was trying to end.
There is no one in the world I know that can throw Jack off his pivot when he gets on a topic and talks, except for Jacob Roach, dude. Jacob Roach.
This guy is a menace to me, man.
Dude, he's a little jerk. Like I said, he's a little jerk.
Dennis Four is making an appearance at a theater near you.
With that, you said something, Jack, that caught my attention. Even keeled is what Joe Flacco is, right? That's what Kevin Stefanski is. So a lot of times you want your coach and quarterback to be on the same page, and so far so good. They've been on the same page, and they're both even keeled. Even that terrible pick, his 6-year-old son or 10-year-old son, however old he was like,
yeah, asked him like, what the heck was that?
What were you throwing that to? What were you doing there? And that's great. And he took it in stride. I was like, that was on me. But the even keeledness of Stefanski and Flacco, that keeps this offense going. And while it looks great on the first, like the opening script, and then it gets off script a little bit and doesn't go as well, they still find ways to move the ball down the field. And the running game wasn't going to be necessarily effective this week, and they let Flacco air it out like we talked about. And I'm excited to see that moving forward because like we've been talking about, all these receivers that we have, they're getting more and more reps with him. And I tweeted about the other day, the Cedric Tillman being able to play a lot now, because of all these things that are happening with the team. And he's producing a little by little. It's not like he's having these monster stat lines, but little by little, he's doing things that move the ball down the field. And he's sort of like you said earlier, Donald Peoples-Jones. I think he would have thrived with Joe Flacco because it's that boom, boom, out, see a timing. And Peoples-Jones right here. Not always separating, but he makes those tough catches. But Cedric Tillman is sort of like the new DPJ, only bigger.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I don't know what Jack's laughing at.
Jeff.
I'm more intrigued to see about, what Elijah Moore and Joe Flacco are going to continue to do in the future together, because I mean, in the Jets, you saw some glimpses and I know Zach, you kind of alluded to it, like where he went after, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Denver, who was their offensive line that year, dude? Like,
it might have. It was nobody. That I don't remember who was he competing with. Was it Simeon or was it Trevor Simeon he was competing with over there?
I believe so, actually.
Osweiler? I might have Simeon passed.
And then the Jets, obviously. I mean, he came to Cleveland and owned us. But
He did.
Drew Lock and Brandon Allen. Drew Lock.
Oh my goodness.
That year.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
After replacing Flacco.
One of you guys just said offensive line. And shout out to the offensive line in Cleveland because they are down a bunch of people.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Let's
talk
actually
about
jump to that. Let's actually jump to the injuries because I think
yeah.
I think that for the most part, this game showed us a lot of things. It showed us that Flacco obviously is going to be the answer to a lot of our problems, at least in the short term, for having consistent quarterback play. That's all we've asked for is consistent quarterback play. Obviously, you want to see the run game do better, but you're going up against a really good run defense. So, I mean, I'm not really gonna hold that against the offense that much. Jerome Ford could probably stop going backwards, but other than that, I think that they tried their best to get the run game going. And for the most part, dude, the one thing that I did that I think is an issue was two things. One, obviously, just the bad turnovers. The Browns got to stop putting themselves in situations where they make bad turnovers and put teams back into it. But also, why didn't Bojorquez get a game ball? This is unbelievable. This dude was dropping freaking nuclear bombs, he punted that one from the end zone to the 20. I'm like, what in the world? This guy is a monster. He did that like 3 different times. I'm like, and he didn't even get a game ball. I mean,
it caught the attention of Pat McAfee too, who was like, he's getting drug tested tomorrow.
I don't know if he
did or not. I don't know if he did or not.
He was going crazy.
He was killing, and I don't know if you guys saw the picture of him, like when Dustin Hopkins gets that game ball.
Yeah, he was like, "What the heck is this, man?"
Like, what?
He comes in and kicks 1 field goal, and I don't get the game ball. Like,
it was
a big field goal, but
it was a pretty important
one to Corey too.
But Corey Bojorquez, that is another great player on this team who he does his job, and they're like, "Oh, you think about the flipping of the field position?" No, if I think about it, then that's when I miss hit. And he said that his last 2 punts he wish he could have had back because they went into the end zone, and the one bounced back to the 20. And but he's just one of those guys that he's another veteran. And Dustin Hopkins coming in, even though they're the special teams guys and the ones that kick the ball, that veteran presence again. We talk about Joe Flacco. It's in this locker room,
and it's a confidence thing too.
Yeah, and there's a confidence level there, and like they all play for one another, and they're all pumped. Like, what do the guys say to you when you boost these 70-yard punts? Oh, they congratulate me. It's all good vibes and back to business.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right.
Yeah. I think
that's where we started, and then we got to special teams.
Yeah.
So,
special teams. You got Justin Tucker, and then you got the second best kicker in the division, third best kicker. You got really
first now.
What? Who's third best kicker?
Wait. We not like him. I mean, McPherson is a rival to both of us.
Get him out of here.
McPherson's not as good as Dustin Hopkins.
Is he that down this year?
McPherson's not as good as Chris Boswell.
Yeah, so McPherson's had a down year. He's not like terrible, but he's had a down year. He's not as good as he was.
I do promise I watch football every Sunday. Now I'm watching the Ravens in Red Zone most of the time, so I'm aware of the Browns. I'm aware, and I follow our group chat every Sunday. I'm seeing what's going down, what's going on.
God,
and you guys do a very good job of keeping everything right there.
We try. I get in trouble because sometimes when I'm at the games, I post about stuff in the game, and then they yell at me because I'm spoiling. Because
I watch the games on the minute delay. I can't tell you what links I watch, or I'm going to start getting eyes on me. But I'm watching the game. Oh, let's just say I'm old. I'm the oldest 28-year-old on the planet. I'm watching games on minute delay. I'm living in the 70s with tape delay. Yeah. So
I feel you.
I have to have my phone.
Got to do what you got to do sometimes. Got to do what you got to do sometimes.
I'm only tweeting highlights about 5 minutes after the play happens because as soon as the play happens, I just pull it out. Anyway, I have to run early. Thank you all for having me. I look forward to coming back, and may the Browns get another win this week. Let's spice up the AFC North division. So
yeah, I hope the Ravens lose.
well, actually, then you have to deal with the Texans. If the Ravens lose.
Okay, we play them next week. It's fine.
Well, you're gonna screw. If the Ravens, you want the Ravens to win,
No, we want you guys to lose every game. I want you to lose every game.
No, but if they're playing a team that you need to
I don't care. I want you to lose every game.
I want the Ravens to lose forever.
All right, respect. You know what? That's the nicest.
You stole the team. You lose every game. I don't care.
Although the Ravens are the team I can tolerate the most on Twitter. The other two fan bases, they suck. But so the Ravens,
we don't have Ravens fans. In Baltimore. That's the good news.
I love Ravens fans because they don't, rub our face in like, oh yeah, we whoop your ass all the time. Nope, it's just like, all right, cool, good game.
Shake hands, dap it up. See you next Sunday.
There's no Pickensburg from Baltimore.
No,
thank God.
No, there's not. All right, guys, I'll catch you soon.
All right, boys.
See you, Zach.
Yep. See you. All right, boys. Let's
let's
jump into
these.
Let's actually talk about these injuries now. Good times with Zach. Good times.
This list is insane.
Yes, I got it up right here. Offensive side of the ball: quarterback Deshaun Watson, running back Nick Chubb, offensive tackle Conklin, Wills, and Jones, and Jakeem Grant. That's just the offensive side of the ball. Okay, if you told me before the season started on the offensive side of the ball, those players were going down, and you said, hey, you're going to be 8-5, though, and you're going to be the 5th seed in the AFC, I would have laughed in your face. I would have. Defense, maybe cried a little bit too, but defense, Ogbo, I mean, they're assuming he's a season-ending injury. They're just assuming right now. Nothing's really been confirmed, I don't think. I think Eddie alluded to that earlier. Grant Delpit, which, dude, I mean, Jack, you were there too. Dude, he was having a game.
He was having a great game.
Dude, I mean, Pro Bowl season in general, dude. This
guy.
When he went down, I didn't know who it was. I thought it was Anthony Walker.
See, I was right. I could see it right there. Dude, because Ansley was sitting right next to me, and she was like, who is that? I'm like, that's Delpit, and he's hitting the turf. Like, he is pissed. Something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And then when I saw how bad he was limping off the field and needing help into the blue medical tent, dude, I told Ansley, I'm like, I think that's season ending. I didn't know it was groin. I assumed hamstring or something, or just something with the leg in general. Obviously, he's limping off the field, trying to be, Mr. Captain Obvious over here. But I did not think it was groin. Dude, that sucks. Yeah. I think he had surgery today. Yeah. So, I mean, they said he could probably come back for the playoffs. I think he's done for the rest of the year.
We'll see how he reacts to the surgery, how well it heals up.
Rodney McLeod.
Yeah.
Maurice Hurst is another one that I saw.
That one just
dude.
He's one of the most underrated signings of Andrew Berry this offseason. Because he was a gamble. He was one of those I wouldn't call it a gamble. There's a word I'm looking for. I'll think of it later. But it's like one of those like, hey, if it happens, if it works out, it works out.
Low risk, high reward.
Low risk, high reward.
There's a word for that. I'll think of it. But
there's a word for it. There's a word for everything.
He played off in a big way. He has been, pretty damn good for most of this season. And now that sucks because I just put in my article for Dog Pound Daily about grading the defense, how he, he got a sack and he's one of the most underrated signings that Andrew Berry had this year, and he's playing extremely well. And now he's done for the year. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, when's it going to end? But the Delpit one, that's crushing, especially on the day that he agreed to the extension. It's crushing. But hopefully it is just 4 weeks. He can come back when we play in the first round of the playoffs, should we get there. But the Delpit one, that hurts so much because him and JOK were just together, that tandem together at different spots.
Gosh, dude.
One of them is always there. One of them is always at the every week. I'll go through and I'll get to the box score so I can write the numbers in my article and all that stuff. And it'll be Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah with 8, 9, 10 tackles, Grant Delpit with 7, 8, 9, 10 tackles. Boom, boom. And every week they're at the top, and now one of those is gone. And God, that sucks. I hate it.
Well, I mean, it's like that one play at midfield when they're both hitting gaps, and Trevor Lawrence has nowhere to go. And I mean, they just explode off the line, get to him, and get a sack. Like that's the kind of stuff that like Grant Delpit does so well, is that he is so explosive. He is able to kind of just cover the field so well, and not having him obviously is just it's such a big downgrade. I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, Grant's kind of, fallen off from the beginning of the season, where at the beginning of the season, I mean, he looked like an all-pro. Like he was like a lock to make the team, the all-pro. And, obviously he hasn't been as productive, but like you're going from certified all-pro to really, really, really good safety. Like, I mean, the fact, like, I don't know how people thought that he wasn't good enough to be extended. I mean, the guy has done nothing but get better every single year. And that's what you want to see out of a guy who missed his whole entire rookie campaign is, he comes back from that. He continues to get better. And then obviously once he gets into a system that can utilize his talents correctly, he has a big breakout year. That's what you want to see. But I mean, yeah, I think that if we're looking at it, like which injury, and this is going to be a weird conversation, which injury do you think is the most impactful overall, like in terms of like how the defense is structured, in terms of like how efficient you think the defense is going to be? Well, because I think the thing about the offensive injuries is that when you look at who's injured, Jed's out, but he's been out for weeks. And honestly, Garon Christian has been extremely good at that position. He's really kept up consistency. Obviously, going from DeJuan to James Hudson is a big downgrade, but even James Hudson, other than like one or two false starts, didn't really give up a lot of pressure. Give up a lot of pressure. I don't think he gave up a sack. Actually, did he give up? Was the fumble sack? Was that on Hudson, or was that just like a?
It was on Hudson. Yeah. It was on Hudson.
So I mean, maybe that's a question mark, but like
the biggest one for me is Delpit. I think losing him that's going to hurt a little bit. And especially with no Rodney McLeod as well. We lost him a couple weeks ago, like Zach just said. But right behind that, I think the Ogbo injury. I think that's going to be detrimental as well, because he's been having a pretty good year, and he was on the uprise at the end of last year in Houston, and then he gets to come here with the new defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, gets to line up opposite Myles Garrett and sometimes beside Myles Garrett, and he's benefited. It's not like he has this crazy stat line either, but he's putting in a solid season. Now he's gone, so those two together, I think, is going to be a little troublesome.
Yeah, Delpit for me, I mean, obviously, man, like he was your all-pro. He was he was just your playmaker on defense, along with like JOK in terms of like linebacker / safety. Like Delpit was finally in a Schwartz defense, was in that role that we knew he could be coming out of LSU. He didn't have to be that coverage safety over the top. That's why he went out and got Thornhill, and that's why you went out and you bolstered this DB room with, Emerson, Newsome, Ward. And then Delpit finally shined in a defensive scheme that worked for him. And to see him go down like that, dude, is just brutal, especially having a great game. It reminded me of that Dolphins defensive end / linebacker. I can't think of his name right now. He literally just went down. He was having a great season. I think he wore like 15 as well or something. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But yeah, it just reminded me of something like that, man. You see guys that are like, he was probably going to earn his contract in Miami. Delpit just got his contract extension. I mean, thank God he's here for years to come now, because coming off of that, let's, knock on wood and assume Jim Schwartz is staying here with Stefanski for a little while, maybe long term. Let's pick up where we left off on this. I mean, I keep saying run it back after every single injury. I think I've said it at least 10 times this year now. Let's just run it back. Let's just run it back, dude. We got to run it back. But the season's still there. No one in the locker room
is giving up.
Is giving up. It's not dead, like Njoku said last year after that Tampa Bay game. Like it's not over, dude. It's not. We're 8-5, like I keep saying. We're 5th seed in the AFC. We're right there. We're not. Oh, Browns are in the hunt, guys. Guys, we're in the hunt. Let's play the schedule game. No. Now it's just handle business these next 4 weeks. Yep. Possibly win out.
Controlling your own destiny is the best thing.
And we have. I mean, those 2 West Coast games, I said after, I think it was the Broncos loss, I'm like, guys, this loss might derail our season. I was wrong. No. I mean, Joe Flacco comes in now, and I think he just gave this sort of excitement and hope to the offense, and the defense is feeding off of it again. So,
especially in front of that home crowd, like I said earlier, they are one of the best defenses we've seen. Definitely the best defense we've seen since they've come back in front of that home crowd. And like I said, they do struggle on the road. Luckily, they get to, for the next 4 weeks, they get to alternate home, road. And those 2 home, that could be, as long as they can go 2-2 or better over these next 4 games, they should be in good shape to make the playoffs, because all these other teams are jockeying behind them. They're a game up on them. All those teams, there's like 6 or 7 teams that are 7-6. And now the Titans are sort of in the mix after that stunning win against Miami. So as long as Browns handle business, 2-2 or better. I see them going 3-1 because that Jets defense is a little scary. But other than that, and the Texans are a good team too, but I just see them winning at least 3 of these games. But as long as they go 2-2, should be in good shape. And you could, if you would have said that, like you said earlier, Zach, list all these injuries, and then if you would have told me that before the season, all these guys are going to be hurt, but then you're going to be 8-5. Have I go, okay, yeah, I'll buy that beach you have in Nebraska too that has an oceanfront view. Nope, 8-5, 5 seed. It's crazy.
So before we get into like the Bears game, I mean, we do like a quick preview, and I know we're gonna do our game predictions and stuff. Let's kind of the next 4 weeks. We got Bears obviously this week at home. Browns are 6-1 at home right now, guys. I mean, Justin Fields is a different beast. Browns have struggled against running quarterbacks. And the Bears defense has looked really solid these last 3 weeks. I think they have 11 takeaways or something like that the last 3 weeks. So I mean, this could be you can't sleep on this team, dude. You just can't with Justin Fields back.
The only thing I will say to that, and I think it was Carnes tweeted out earlier. Last time Justin Fields came here, he was sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying they're going to sack him 9 times because they're a little better than they were then. But this is one of those games that you need to go out and win in front of your home crowd. It's going to be tougher because they struggle a little bit with scrambling quarterbacks. And the secondary has to come to play because Moore will kill you if he's able to. And Fields will find him. So this isn't like one of those games where it's like, oh, yeah, the Browns are easily going to win this. I think they're going to be fighting in all the rest of these games. For the rest of the year, and a lot of teams are going to view this because they're behind the Browns and even outside in looking at the playoffs. All these games are going to be like playoff games. You guys said you were there. It felt like a playoff atmosphere. It was loud I had to watch it on my computer because the TV was not cooperating with what I was trying to stream it on. I was a player behind. But anyway, I don't know where it was coming from, but someone had like garbage can lids or like sticks or something was just banging on like the
it's like the metal things in front of the seats that are like there's like glass panes and they have like metal things underneath them. That's what people are slamming on. The people who I went to the game with who were sitting in front of me actually were slamming on it down at the dog pound.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys have watched the game back at all yet from the TV or if you guys do that once you go to the live game, but this was loud. Boom, 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 all the time, all throughout the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it was crazy. I think that energy is going to keep feeding from this week. They had a bad road trip, 2 losses in a row. But despite the losses, Anthony Walker was saying something along the lines of their team still got closer together. They bonded. They were able to go do things. No families for the most part. Just go out, be dudes, and do whatever. Go out to eat, go.
And look, you played well enough as a team to get to the point where 7-5, you're still in a good spot. That's why it's so important to win those really tough games, like winning against the Ravens, winning against the 49ers, getting those games that like, for the most part, a lot of people thought like there was no way we could win those given the circumstance. Winning those games and coming out with those tough ones gives you a lot of breathing room. Like when people were freaking out when we were 7-4 after the Seahawks game, I'm like, I'm not freaking out. It's not a big deal. Like, yeah, losing a game against the Seahawks, which you could have easily won. Yeah, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Losing a game against the Broncos, which you could have easily won. Yeah, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world because you have these cushions against these other teams. And you can see now all of those games that we won, even when you lose, as long as you can come back and get another one, not go on a long losing streak, you can still be a game up on the entire rest of the AFC that's still fighting for a wild card spot. It's okay. You don't need to freak out every single time there's a bad loss. If it's a bad loss, it's a bad loss. But as long as you don't continue losing games that you're not supposed to, you're going to be fine. We're 8-5 now. We're way above all these 7-6 teams. As weird as that sounds, way above 7-6 teams. But in terms of like who the tiebreakers and everything, like we're in a really good spot. And the rest of our schedule is probably the easiest part of the schedule outside of maybe this upcoming game.
Yeah, I mean, and then when we played the schedule prediction game before the season started, like when I looked at this back half of the season, this last quarter of the season, I'm like, dude, that's beautiful. Assuming we were going to stay healthy 100%. But even now, looking at it, with the offense kind of clicking with Flacco, Stefanski not afraid to run an offense that he's comfortable with, that Flacco knows he can run, like I said earlier. The only thing that's sticking with me now, like Delpit is a big loss. We don't know if Ward's going to be back yet this week. He
practiced
today, but I think he was off the injury report last week as well, though. Juan Thornhill with a calf injury, banged up. Ogbo, dude, to me is another big loss. I mean, dude, that's solid depth. He's so fun to watch when he comes on the field, dude. Miles is playing with one arm, still a beast, but playing with one arm. Like, obviously Martin Emerson steps up big. Greg Newsome is, I think people underrate Greg Newsome a lot, dude. I love Greg Newsome. I hope he's here for a very long time. It's gonna be tough, dude. It's gonna be tough to contain Justin Fields this week. It really is.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah,
it.
no, we will. It's gonna be tough to contain Justin Fields this week. So outside of that, though, DJ Moore and Justin Fields, what else do you really have to contain on offense? Johnson as a running back, like.
Well, I think this is an interesting matchup because obviously the Bears are coming in pretty hot. They've won 3 of the last 4, but they haven't really done it convincingly other than the Lions game this last week. Like, I mean, they beat the Panthers by 3. They beat the Vikings by 2. Like, their offense is better, but it's not exactly consistent. Like, it's okay enough to beat the Panthers and to beat like the Vikings. It's like not teams that are particularly, known for being difficult teams to play against. And I mean, obviously, yeah, they really beat up on the Lions, but the Lions are also kind of an inconsistent team at times. They've had 2 really bad weeks. And I think that Justin Fields does propose a problem, but I don't think that he proposes a similar type of issue that a guy like Lamar Jackson provides. Like, Lamar has he is a good passer and he's an elite runner. Justin Fields is a good runner and he's an okay passer. And the simple fact is that I think Justin Fields has one key difference, and it's that he holds onto the ball a lot longer than a lot of other guys in the league. He actually, I think, has the slowest passing time of any quarterback in the league. He holds onto the ball for like 3.5 seconds before he throws. And look, it's gonna be harsh because obviously you're gonna have to rotate in a whole new group of guys at D tackle and at defensive end. And I think we're gonna be seeing Siaki Ika make his first start possibly. But I think that the Browns have a pretty good chance of really containing the Bears, and not only because I think that Justin Fields will probably have a rough time, but also because they're also dealing with injury. DJ Moore didn't practice today. Cole Kmet, I think that the Browns are really good at covering tight ends. Their running back room is not very deep at all, and they don't really seem to have any concept of a true running back one. They're really a running back by committee. I mean, like, it's either Deontay Foreman, Khalil Herbert. I mean, they have guys that are okay runners, but none of them are good at like by themselves. Like they're a good unit. But like, because I'm not really afraid of anyone other than DJ Moore. And if a guy like Denzel Ward is able to come back and start, I'm not really afraid of anyone else on that team, to be honest. Like, that's just me saying it. Like, obviously, yes, the runnability of Justin Fields is an X factor that you have to consider. But I think that this team is still good enough, even without Grant Delpit, even without Maurice Hurst, even without Obo Okoronkwo. I think that they're still good enough to be able to maintain an offense as inconsistent as the Bears.
Eddie, anything to add to that?
No, not really. Like that pretty much hit everything. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I just think personally, I think this Bears defense too. They've been very, very like high energy and very just getting to the quarterback right now really well.
Montez Sweat's been a big upgrade for them.
Who was it? Was it that broke their ankle on Sunday? That's not playing, obviously.
Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah. I think he's actually out for the season.
He is.
Oh, okay. Oh wow, I didn't even know that. See, dude, that's how much I work now. They have Brisker though. Brisker's having a pretty good season right now. So for them, I just their defense has been very hot as of late. Again though, you're coming in to play a Browns team that at home they look unstoppable. They really do, and you might be getting Ward back. So let's get into our game predictions, guys. We didn't pick last week at all.
Well, I kind of did, but it doesn't really count because it was on the Thursday night show with Jacob, and I didn't really make predictions. I more so just kind of talked about 4 different teams, and I guess I could call them my predictions. But obviously, you guys weren't on. We didn't do a show last week, so I can just ignore those predictions.
Well, I'm gonna give Tyler's then.
Okay, let's go with Tyler's.
God, I actually don't like seeing this because every time Tyler picks the Browns to lose, we win. But Tyler picked the Browns to win 27-23. He has a pretty close game at home. I mean, I agree. It'll stay pretty close this week. Let's go to you, Eddie.
I have a little bit bigger than that. I have the same 27, but I have it being 27-17. I think it might be close for a little bit, and then the Browns pull. It's sort of like the Jacksonville game. They sort of pulled away at the end, despite Jacksonville getting that touchdown and going for 2, and then not getting the onside kick. So I think 27-17, somewhere around 10-ish.
Yeah, I'm pretty close there too. I think that the Browns are going to win this one. I think they're going to looking at it probably 27-20. I think that DJ Moore is good enough to get them at least into the red zone and get them some touchdowns and probably some field goals. So I think that they're not going to completely blow them out, but I think that they're going to handle their business for the majority of the game.
God, man, what's the weather supposed to be like at this game?
Hmm.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, you can't predict that at 5 days out.
Yeah, no. I'm going to give Cleveland the edge here just because of their record at home, dude. The offense is starting to click around Flacco. I just think as long as his offensive line can protect Flacco and he just plays like he's been playing right now and making the right throws, Fancy's not scared to air it out against this team. I do think the Browns overall, even with all these injuries, still just a better team than the Bears, dude. So I got the Browns 28, Bears 26.
You have it coming down to like the wire.
According to my weather app, it says 49 degrees and then 50% chance of rain.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone knows this, but the percentage of rain isn't like the percentage how much it's got. Like, if it's
it's a calculation of in these particular
area,
weather coordination quarter.
Yeah. Like 50% of Cleveland could get rain, and the other 50% not. That's how that. I didn't know if anyone knew that. I learned that like 2 years ago, and I was flabbergasted.
I've learned a lot of things about weather, and I've learned that everyone learns different things about how the weather works. That's right. That's what I've learned. Okay, what's Tyler's next game?
Oh, very important, huh? All right, he picked the Raiders.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I mean that's gonna be an awful game. My God, these Thursday night games are horrendous.
Yeah, they are. They sure are.
I kind of agree with Tyler on that one because Justin Herbert is now out. So
yeah,
Keenan Allen is out with a heel.
And Keenan Allen's there. Like, gosh, what a horrendous situation that is.
I'm gonna go with the Colts over the Steelers for my first.
Ooh,
God dang it, Eddie!
You can pick the same games, Jack. We do.
I know, but I don't like doing that. That's boring. You know what? Oh, dude, give me the Titans over the Texans.
Oh, I like it.
So Derrick Henry. Look, I'm gonna say this as a Derrick Henry truther. Okay, I picked Derrick Henry in the first round in fantasy 3 years in a row, and he always destroys the Texans. Always.
Oh man, I'm picking a team that needs to kind of have a bounce back win just for like their morale right now. They're still very good, but I think they need it after their loss. I got the Eagles over the Seahawks.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely need a bounce back game after the last 2 weeks.
What was Tyler's next one?
Damn, dude, I keep forgetting. See, Tyler's usually doing this for me.
All right.
Tyler picked the Bengals over the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, and the Nick Mullins game. We'll see what happens.
Ooh, Nick Mullins. You can never bet against Nick Mullins.
You can bet against Nick Mullins.
Never bet against Nick Mullins, dude.
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm gonna go opposite of Tyler. I'm gonna take the Vikings over the Bengals.
Okay. I'm thinking. Gosh, I've been thinking about this Cowboys-Bills game, and
I like that
on the podcast or on our Lockerverse Thursday Night Football show. I remember I was talking with Jacob, and I said he was asking me who I thought the wild card teams for the AFC were going to be, and I said that the Browns were going to make it. I said that I thought the Texans were going to make it, and I also told him that I thought the Bills were going to make it. I thought the Bills were going to win the Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. They did, and I told him that I think that they're gonna string together a couple wins here. I think they're good. They might be able to beat the Cowboys. I'm going to say that the Bills are going to beat the Cowboys. They're at home. They're coming off a pretty big win in Arrowhead. I think that they can take this game.
They should have beat the Eagles, dude.
I know they should have beat the Eagles.
They should have beat the Eagles.
I'm confident that I think the Bills are can make this run.
They're favored too by 2.5. So
they're at home. That's kind of how it works. They kind of get a little.
See, that one might be a snowy game.
That's gonna be a snow game.
That one might be a snowy game.
And the Cowboys, look, the Cowboys are coming off of like they've been at home for like a month, so like they're gonna go on the road, outdoors, cold. I think that might be like kind of a shell shock game where like they just kind of get hit with like a wave of cold and in hostile territory, and they just can't manage it. But we'll see what happens. This could be like the thing that really cements whether or not Dak is the MVP or not.
I'm going to go. Oh man, see, there are a lot of like, oh, that's obvious, but there are also a lot of like crap bowl games, in my opinion. I'm gonna go Jordan Love over the Buccaneers, man. I think Green Bay gets a little bounce back victory as well.
I like it. The AFC South, the NFC South is such a mess. What's the last one for Tyler though?
Oh, yeah.
Tyler picked the Packers as well. Look at that.
Oh,
there we go.
Unoriginal.
I'm gonna stick with the Saturday. I'm gonna take the Broncos over the Lions in Detroit.
Give me the Rams over the Commies.
So, Eddie, do you think the Lions are kind of on a downfall right now?
I think they're frauds. I think them and the Dolphins are both frauds.
I'm feeling the same way.
Ooh,
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like having to say it because I really like the Lions. I like Dan Campbell. I like Amon-Ra. I like a lot of their players.
I don't think,
but they played a really good at the beginning of the year, and now it just seems like for some reason I feel like they almost got like too comfortable with like.
I don't think they're frauds. I don't think they're frauds. I don't want to talk crap because every time I've talked crap on a quarterback, they.
I'm not talking crap on a quarterback.
No. Me, Jack, me.
Well, no, I know, but like
I think they are a product of Jared Goff right now, dude. I think
they're only as good as Jared Goff gets.
He hasn't played all that great the past few weeks. He's starting to go down a little bit. So
yeah, they are what Jared Goff gives them every week, dude.
I think them and the Dolphins are very similar in each of the conferences. They're very similar teams. Like they look really good again, at certain times, and then we just saw Miami blow a 14-point lead with 3 minutes left.
It's kind of like Miami can only really go as far as Tyreek Hill can take them, and the Lions are only as good as Jared Goff can take them. Like Tyreek, as long as Tyreek's out there, they're fine. But the second that Tyreek can't be Superman, the Miami Dolphins are screwed. But then the second that Jared Goff can't just be like an okay, good quarterback, the Lions are screwed. It's an interesting little dichotomy.
What was the game you picked, Jack? After that,
I picked the Rams over the Commanders.
All right, I got to do it. I got to go with this DeVito dude.
I
gotta go with him. I gotta go with him, dude. I love his agent. I love everything about this dude.
Yeah,
Danny DeVito's long lost cousin, bro. I gotta go with him. I almost did. I'm going with the Giants over the Saints. I gotta do it.
Sir.
I might have to start DeVito in a playoff game in my 2-quarterback league if CJ Stroud cannot play.
So funny, man.
Let's get it.
Oh, you just reminded me to check the Dynasty League, dude. Oh,
yeah, I didn't make the playoffs in that, so.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Anyways, boys, thank you for joining me again.
Hold on. What?
Oh, wait,
oh
what?
My gosh.
Oh.
Zach, did you almost forget?
Dude.
Did you almost forget?
Christmas is right around the corner, dude.
It's Christmas right around the corner.
Oh,
my God. You guys are running out of time because Homage is updating their stock. They're updating all their stuff. They're updating their stocking stuffers, their sweatshirts, their starter jackets. All that stuff's there, and you should be checking it out because guess what? You order soon, it'll probably get here by Christmas, and you'll have an awesome gift to give to all of your friends, family. They don't even have to be Browns fans. They don't have to be sports fans. You can get them for anything. But if you are a Browns fan, and Zach, I don't know if you went to the team shop, you saw the sick new Homage hoodie that they had in the store. It was sick. I wanted to get one, but unfortunately I'm kind of in a situation where I can't be buying more hoodies or else I'll be in trouble. But Homage is the best clothing. We're all wearing our super comfortable Homage clothing. It's again, if you have any friends or family that are a fan of any sports teams, Browns, Cavs, Guardians, or even if they're not, you can get them basically any, piece of clothing from any sports team. any city, any sort of, cool cultural references or anything like that. It's all different styles. So again, t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, pullovers, any weather condition, any, if they're unfortunate enough to live in Ohio where it's nice and cold, or maybe they live somewhere else and you're going to visit them, you can get them any kind of clothing and they'll be able to wear it all year long. Again, pop culture stuff, crossover stuff, anything you like on super high quality clothing that really anyone will like, because it's super comfortable and everyone likes comfy clothes, and getting comfy clothes for Christmas is always better than buying it yourself. So if you have, anyone that in your family that you love, and even if you don't, go there, get some Christmas gifts for them. And again, it's just the best quality apparel. If you want to support your team, have a great gift for your family, and you're supporting us here at the Faithful Dogs podcast and everyone at Network 216. You can use the link down in the description or in the comments. I forget where it's posted, but go ahead and click that link, and it helps support us, helps them know that you came to Homage and bought stuff using our recommendation. And again, we really do recommend it. It's awesome merch, and everyone in your family who gets it for you will love you. I promise.
Yes.
I speak from personal experience.
Wow. This dude, every time. Every damn time, dude.
You almost didn't let him do it, so.
I know. Can you believe this? This guy tried to end the show.
All part of the All part of the
course,
script.
no, actually, yeah, you're
all
right.
Part of the script.
Guys, we have the script, actually.
Yeah.
It's a blank Word document where we just kind of come up with stuff on the fly.
Yeah. I don't think we've used a script in a year and a half. Oh, 10 p.m. Victory Chugs. Victory Chugs, 10 p.m.
Sandra's coming on with me. They have a great show lined up. My favorite non-show that I do, a Cleveland sports podcast, because it's just like a late night comedy show, and it's fantastic.
Yep. If you're looking for some good satire to end your night, Dog Chug, 10 p.m. Victory Chugs. All right. For Zach, Jack, King, Eddie, up there, this is the Faithful Dogs podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and go Browns.
Go Browns.